you wonder why the Cash Flow Podcast might have a title of The Failure Fund, you're going to find out. Welcome back, and let's talk through it. I do this thing with my clients called a failure fund. I'll tell you where it came from, and I'll tell you how you can set one up for yourself and why it's important. So let's jump right in. First of all, have you ever heard about the new Coke debacle? It's known as the most disastrous marketing failure in the history of marketing failures. And there's a great show actually on Wondery, shout out to Wondery, called Business Wars. And I think it's season 7, but I'm not sure, is about the Pepsi and Coke wars. And it's kind of cool because it goes all the way back to the beginning of time and when that first Coke recipe happened. And I didn't realize this, but those two companies have been wrestling way, way, way back since as early as the first Coke recipe happened, the one that actually had cocaine in it. So anyway, that's an aside, but great episode, and it talked about this new Coke failure. And there's a reason they did it, and there's a reason it worked. Now, there are all sorts of opinions on whether it was done on purpose or not on purpose. I don't happen to think it was done on purpose, but I do happen to think the fact that they had the money set aside to be able to make it happen was huge. What I had was a client who put me onto this idea, who gets full credit for it. Her name is Angela Lauria. And when I started working with her, she said, look, I want you to set aside some money for me. And I forget the details of what it was called, but it was something like the fun shit line item. She wants the fun shit line item. And she's like, I know you can't put that on my profit and loss statement. I'm just like, the hell I can't. Yes, I can. We're actually going to create a line on your P&L and call it the fun shit line item. And she said, okay, every month, every quarter, I want to spend X amount of money on some new thing that I'm absolutely fine if it flops. I want to have the money set aside for it. I want to spend it. I want to do it. And then after 90 days, I want to evaluate it. And that is actually the 3 steps we're going to cover today in a little more detail. I want you to set aside some money for a failure fund. I want you to pick some things you've always wanted to try and actually try them with the total awareness that you've set this money aside and it could flop. And then let it go for 90 days. Keep working on it, focusing on it, like making it work, but don't pull money back away from it for 90 days. Give it a full 90 days to succeed or fail. But at the end of that 90 days, if it's not a hell yes, it's a no. That's one of Angela's favorite expressions, and I love it. So you put your money aside, you pick your idea, you go full in for 90 days on your idea. At the end of the 90 days, it's either a hell yes or it's off the table, and you start your next thing. So why is this important? If Coca-Cola at the time had not had the money to make this mistake, and they didn't set it aside as a failure fund, although there are some who think they did, to make this massive blunder, then they would have never done what came next, which was put Coke Classic back on the market. They called it Coke Classic, and again, more rumors. Was it really the same recipe as the original? We won't ever know. They put Coke Classic back on the market, and that won back not only their existing clients, but our customers. It pulled people from Pepsi as well, and that one thing put Coca-Cola back ahead in the cola wars. Now, they went back and forth a lot forever, but that was really important. It was right after Pepsi-Cola had had a string of successes with the Michael Jackson ad, with the blind taste tests that they did with Coke, and they were winning. That new Coke thing was a big blunder that they could afford to make. I want you to have the funds set aside for a big blunder. Because here's what happens. As entrepreneurs, we're risk takers. We definitely are. It's what we do. But surveys will show you, various surveys will say that 80% of us are skipping new things because we're scared they're going to fail. It might be that I want to launch a new podcast. It might be that I want to try a new product offering. It might be that I want to change up how I'm delivering my service or packaging my product, whatever it might be. I'm kind of going to go, well, you know, things are going well. I don't really want to tip the boat. Let's just stay away from that. And you're limiting your growth because here's what happens. I'm going to liken this might be controversial, but I used to work in pharmaceuticals. And in the pharmaceutical R&D area, what will happen, this is changing with AI, but what used to happen is you would literally invest $1 billion, say, in 20 different things. So your $1 billion will be spread over these 20 things. 19 of them are going to fail. One of them's not. And the one of them that's not is going to get you your $1 billion back plus some so that you can again go research the next thing. And I'm not going to get into a whole pharmaceutical pricing argument, but someday I'm glad to give you my opinion on that. But this is the same sort of thing. You're going to try, if you do this for like every 90 days, if you build up this fund, if you try things for 90 days at a time, then it says you're going to try 4 things in a year. Chances are pretty good you're not coming up with dumb ideas. You're an entrepreneur, right? You are somebody who has ideas that work, which is how you're here today. One of those 4, maybe 2 of those 4, who knows, maybe 4 of those 4 things are going to work. And you're going to have all of a sudden catapulted your business ahead. Not just taking little incremental step changes. And that's what this failure fund or the fun shit fund, whatever you want to call it, can do for you. It can give you the opportunity to take those risks. But if you don't set it aside, it's kind of like setting aside money to pay yourself, right? If you don't set it aside, it's never going to happen. If you don't set a failure fund aside, it's never going to happen. So here's how you execute it. Here's what I suggest and challenge you to do today. First of all, make a list of what you think are your dumb ideas. Make a list of what you think are your smart ideas. Get them all on a piece of paper. Know that that's a list you can go back to. Add things to it as they come to you. Whether you think they're dumb, whether you think they're smart, put them on that list. The second thing I would do is identify some percentage of revenue each month and put it aside in your fun shit line or your whatever you want to call it, failure fund line. And leave it there. You don't have to act on this today. Give it 3 months to build up some money. And once you have some money, pick one of the things on your list that you can execute on over the next 90 days for that amount of money that you've put aside. If you put aside $1,000, what's one of the things on your list of dumb or smart stuff to try that you can actually put in place for $1,000? And do it. Do the thing. Start it on day 1. Let it go for 90 days. Don't do anything except like enhance it. Don't pull back from it. Don't chicken out from it. Don't do anything. Commit that $1,000 and spend it on this. And at the end of 90 days, go, yep, that worked. That was awesome. Guess what? We're going to scale it up. But if it's not a hell yes, and I'm going to scale it up, then it's a no. And don't feel bad about it. Feel good about it because you tried something. And if you think back to how we all started in small business, we had the courage to try the thing. So all I'm recommending is that you try the thing. Set aside money so that you can try the thing without fearing about losing money. It's like they tell traders, I think you all know I like day trading. And one of the things I tell myself all the time, and anybody who does day trading should tell themselves, is never play around in day trading with more money than you're willing to lose. So that if I lost everything that I day trade with tomorrow, it would be no big deal because I don't put more in it than I'm willing to lose. Same thing here. Don't put more in your shit fund than you're willing to lose. And then it takes all that pressure off of you. So do this for me. Like over the next couple of days, make that list of things. Over the next 90 days, start to put some money aside and then have fun. Pick the thing that you really want to do. Number one, it keeps you interested. The business doesn't get boring that way. Pick the one thing that would be the most fun for you to do for that much money and do it for 90 days and see if it works. Over that same 90 days, you'll keep building your fund up, right? Because then after that 90 days, you're going to go do another one, just like it. So that's my tip for the day. Entrepreneurs need to know how to fail. We all do all the time. Let's try and do it without having to worry about it. In fact, let's plan for it. Let's plan that every now and then we're going to fail, so let's set some money aside to do it with abandon. Jump in, have a great week, and do me a favor. If this was fun information for you or an idea you hadn't thought of before, give us a like or subscribe, and even more so, share this link to our podcast with your friends, family. Find us on YouTube. You can find on every single platform that podcasts show up on, and we want to reach as many small business owners as possible with a lot of our Keep It Simple Squad strategies so that you can grow your business, have fun with it, and be sure to come back and watch us again for our next episode. Take care.